how's it going? Katie and Claudia here today. If you saw that first shot, then you might know what we're here to talk about, which is the Spectrum Noir Sparkle Markers.
Yes.
They are so sparkly. These are part of a sale today on Blitsy.com. We'll put the link in the comments. But before you check it out, Claudia, you're going to show us all about these, right?
Yes. So I'm going to show you a few of the sets that we have for sale, and then also just a few different ways that you can use them, kind of what the basics are about them. And I'm really excited because these are one of my favorite products that we carry because they are just beyond sparkly. Like, you cannot achieve this amount of sparkle, and I love that it doesn't rub off, so you don't have a glitter explosion everywhere. So it's a really great way to add sparkle to crafts if you are not a big fan of, you know, like the
Glitter
actual physical
everywhere.
glitter. Yes.
So everyone that sees these in person are just blown away. I'm really hoping that it will translate on camera and you can see just how sparkly these are, but take my word for it. I think you'll be able to see it, but we just had an event here. Everyone that tried them were like, oh my gosh, they are so sparkly.
Yeah, they were very excited that we were able to bring them out for them to see in person because it doesn't do it justice on screen. But I will show you a few different techniques. So first off, I'll start with just kind of showing you some of the sets that we have for sale, just so that you can see kind of the different color ranges. So this is the Glitz and Glamour set, and you can see how nice and saturated that is. And it's very, very, very sparkly. And then there are also, so this is one of the more vibrant sets, and then these pastel colors are really, really pretty and shimmery. And you can see how I've overlapped them slightly, so you can see how well they blend together. Then this is called Shades of Spring. It's another really bright, pretty one. We have Summertime, which is also really bright and saturated. And then there are a couple of sets that are more seasonal. We have Falling Leaves. And for holiday time, there is one called Winter Warmers. So this is kind of just to give you an idea of the range of colors that they come in. And there's also some new ones that we don't actually have physically yet, samples of, but there's some new metallics that are for sale. So those I'm excited to get my hands on when we get samples. And then there's also a clear pen, so that you can actually add shimmer to anything that already exists. So if you have maybe like a patterned paper that you want to add shimmer to, or if you have other stamped images that are already colored in, this is a great way to add sparkle. It's a clear, really shimmery,
just like top
coat essentially, yes. So that's all of the different kind of ranges of colors that are offered. So the basics are, this is a water-based glitter pen. They call it a pen because it's got but it's got a marker, kind of like a brush tip. It's got really fine Japanese brush tip. Why is this one jammed? There we go. So that it's really precise. It can write really, really thin or really, really thick. So you could actually do hand lettering with this if you really like to do that. But because they're water-based, you can use them as you would watercolors. So I'm going to show a few different techniques that I did just to kind of give you an idea.
And do you need to shake them up or anything, or
you can shake. You can give them a little shake. I can hear the glitter in here. When you actually get them brand new, they've got a little seal on them that you break, and then you can hear the snap when you snap them into place, kind of like paint pens. So you want to shake it a little bit, but not too much. Okay. And then if you start to see that it kind of, this one isn't really running dry, but if it were, you would just, there's a little thing on the pen that says push, and you can push on there to kind of
get more fluid
coming out. Exactly. So the first technique I'm going to show you is how easy it is to blend colors straight from the marker. So I took this pen here and I colored in these flowers that I stamped. Oh, and because it's water-based, you want to make sure that your ink is a permanent ink that's not going to bleed, no water-based inks, because otherwise it's just going to become a mess. So I went ahead and did the first layer in this Moonlight color, and then this is just kind of to show you how easy it is to blend with the markers themselves. So then I'll take this orange color and kind of just blend it in there. And you can go back with the yellow and you can see how easy it blends out. And then I took it one step further and used a little bit of red. And then you just go back with the...
And are these those rubbernecker stamps?
They
that
are.
Great for layering. Those are so beautiful.
They are. They're great for achieving that watercolor look. So you can see how easy it is to blend out 3 colors just from using the marker tip itself without actually having to use a paintbrush or a water brush. That's how you achieve that look.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
The first one being, how much are they? So the sets of 3, you can see you get 3 colors in a set, are $12.39. All available on Blitsy.com. We'll link to it in the comments. And then someone asked, how do you buy them in South Africa? We ship to South Africa, so you can put them in your cart from Blitsy.com. Yeah, so it's 2 easy answers. I know you just showed that first technique. You have another?
Yes. So that's how you use 3 different colors straight from the marker. Now, if you want to use just one color, you can see how easy it is to blend. So you can see how I'm using a very small amount, barely any. And then I just have a paintbrush that I dipped in water, and you can see how easily this blends out. So you can make it as light or as dark as you'd like, and you saw how little of that marker I used, and you get this wonderful effect. So if you wanted a little bit of a darker center to that one, what did I just use? I think I used this one. You can actually put some on an acrylic block and use it as you would a regular watercolor. So you can see how easy this blends out. So that's another technique if you wanted to use just one color or a couple of colors, as opposed to, and you can use it with a brush as opposed to straight from the marker. And then this technique is my favorite, which is using 2 colors that are very, very different. So if I take, for example, this really light rose color and just kind of paint the bottom.
And I love how you don't have to be precise because you're trying for that watercolor look. So.
Right, exactly. So it's a nice, nice way to get comfortable with using a brush, and you don't have to be exact. It has that painterly effect. And so then this technique, you kind of just pull the top color into the bottom color, and then the bottom color up, and you get a really cool transition from the lighter shade to the brighter or darker shade that you choose towards the top. So, and it dries really painterly, like you said, like kind of that like overlap watercolor effect.
And I don't want people to forget how sparkly these are, because we're showing them kind of as watercolors, but it's hard to see on the camera. It's super shimmery on the paper.
Yes. So I have a couple of background techniques that I did, and you can see how I used it here as I did before on the acrylic block, and then I just did a watercolor wash, and every part of this sheet of watercolor paper is sparkly. So everywhere that this pen touched it's completely sparkly. It's like you sprayed it with glitter. And then this one, this technique, I'll just show you really quick, because this is fun because you get like a light shimmer, and then you get saturated areas where you get a lot of glitter. All I did was take some of the different...
So Kit asked, can you squeeze the paint out?
Yes.
That's what she's doing right there.
Yes.
You just squeeze the pen and it'll come out like a paint.
Yep. So I just took a bunch of different colors. You can just take colors and actually just put it onto the acrylic block, and then all you do is take your paper and you just press it down onto the block. And you can see how you can dab away some of the excess if you'd like. You can see how it blends, and it just creates like a really cool blended sparkle. So this one I just spaced out my...
Yeah, I was going to say, how did you get so many splatters there?
I just spaced them out way more than I did here.
And no, it will never be the same twice, which is really cool.
And when you're left with this kind of print, you can either just place your paper right on top again and you get a different print, or you can spritz it with water so that you can achieve the glittery look. So
Sheila wants to know, do the colors bleed onto the marker that you're blending with?
They do, but they're self-cleaning.
Okay.
Just because they're so fluid and there's so much water in the actual pigment. So yes, so if you're blending, let's say like this yellow shade and then some of the orange, and you want to go back in and blend that line there with the yellow, you will get a little bit of pigment on the tip of the brush pen, but all you need to do is kind of just scribble with it, and it cleans itself. So you're not gonna contaminate them permanently by mixing them, which is great. That's what makes it great for blending, and also because you can keep adding, or you can use some water and take away some color if it's too saturated for your liking. So yeah. Oh, and one more technique that I wanted to show, because you had mentioned these rubber necker stamps, which are also in the promo.
Okay.
So I just used, like I said, a permanent ink, and I stamped the stamp down. And this poppy stamp comes with 2 layers. You have your base layer, which is the outline, and then you have this kind of solid fill that you can use with any kind of ink to just stamp right on top of it, like that. And it kind of takes the guesswork out of lining up colors and whatnot when you're using stamps. But if you choose to use these pens, you can actually just
color
right onto your stamp. Let's see. I'll use the orange. So you can color right on. And it like you said, it comes out differently every time. So, and you can either spritz this with water. I'm not going to spritz it today, but and then you literally just flip it over, stamp, and you get this kind of splatter effect. And if you just add a little bit of water,
oh, that's awesome!
You get a really cool splattery
watercolor.
Yeah. So
these stamps are really cool. So it comes as a set, right? You had the 2,
yes.
You had the base, and then you just stamped over to color it in.
Yes, and there's quite a few flower and butterfly varieties in the promo. But yes, they always come with 1 outline stamp and then 1 fill that you can use in various ways. So today I just happened to use it with the pens.
Awesome.
So yeah.
I have a couple of questions that I saw. Pam said, can you use this in coloring books? She wishes that her coloring book friends were here on Facebook to see this because she thinks these are really cool. So I think it depends probably on the coloring book.
Yes, if it's, I would only use it to be safe on watercolor coloring books, which we have sold some watercolor pads. They're printed on I think they're Prima?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're printed on watercolor paper. That would be best just because it is such a wet medium like watercolor that you don't want it to bleed pages to warp, or it to bleed through, and then when it dries it'll stick your pages together. So you can always test it out, but I would just recommend definitely using some kind of watercolor coloring book.
Yeah, and search on Blitsy for the Prima watercolor coloring books if you haven't seen them yet, because they're awesome.
Beautiful.
I was actually using one this weekend, just having fun with it, coloring with the watercolors. So very fun. The other question that I saw was just, what are the name of these and where can you buy them? So we'll cover that again. We'll put the link in the comments for you on Facebook, but it's the Spectrum Noir Sparkle pens, which they look more like a brush marker, but they're called the Sparkle pens.
Yep. So water-based, so you can mix them once again, and you can see how many different colors they come in. They come in sets of 3, and they also come in bigger sets. But just really, really fun to work with, and they pair really well with the other Spectrum Noir alcohol markers and aquas. So
I'm just having fun over here playing.
basically, it is like it's kind of like if you had combined the aqua and the vibrancy of the alcohol marker, and then just threw a bunch of glitter on it.
Yes.
It's all in one, and it's contained for you. So.
It is.
Oh, and I just wanted to show you how, as sparkly as it is, it's not
That
gonna.
one you can probably see the sparkle the most, and it doesn't.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not.
it comes off a tiny bit.
Yeah, but it's not like glitter. Like, it's not gonna load and shed all over all of your stuff on your desk. So it's kind of contained within the liquid pigment of the marker itself. So I'm not sure if we have any more questions.
I don't see any. I was just looking. I don't see any more questions. If there's any that we missed, we'll make sure we answer them in the comments. If you have any and you're watching on the replay, let us know. We'll keep an eye on it, and we'll, of course, link to all of these colors for you on Blitsy. And thank you guys for joining us. Tomorrow, we will be live at 10 o'clock Central with the Brutus Monroe products that we'll be launching. I think we'll have a special guest from Brutus Monroe. And then we're also going to have the Clarity stamps, which are
a lot of fun.
So make sure you join us tomorrow at 10 o'clock Central, same place, and have a great day, guys. Happy crafting.